Hey everybody, it's Charlie with Daily Motor, and I'm here with my dad and his 2021 Toyota Tacoma, and it's been probably about 3 to 4 months here since we installed this set of RRW Relations Race wheels with these Hankook Dynapro AT2 Xtreme tires on them. So we're going to go for a little drive, talk about the observations he's seen in all sorts of different driving experiences, thoughts on towing, fuel economy, drivability, all those things that you all have been asking. So without any further ado, let's get behind the wheel. For those of you just joining us on this one, be sure to check out part 1 where we did the install of the wheels and tires and kind of talked about why he picked these both these tires and these wheels out for this Tacoma, kind of what he was going for, what his thought process was. But after living with them for a little while, overall it seems like pretty happy with them, right?
Yep.
So let's talk first. We put them on and they seemed a good bit quieter than the tires that were on before. Have they still seemed to be pretty quiet?
They haven't changed, and I've had one rotation.
Okay. So 8,000 miles, about 3 or 4 months. He does a good amount of driving, both highway, city, mixed terrains, nothing too hardcore, but you think that this I haven't gotten any louder or anything since we got that first layer? Okay, cool. That's definitely good. But I know you did have to get an alignment done, which helped a bit, right?
Yep. And it's very straight.
Okay.
Track's very straight.
And you actually noticed the need for the alignment more after you got the new tires, because you realized that your old tires had kind of wore into the alignment, right?
Yep.
Whereas the new completely straight tires here, you noticed some pulling with the wheel. I had to address that. Fuel economy, you noticed a little bit of a drop, right?
But it's more because we went to the larger wheel.
Okay.
Over stock.
All right, yeah, because not only are we dealing with a little bit more aerodynamic drag then, but also the car is going to have to work a little bit more, which we're going to talk about here in a moment. And pretty much anytime you go to a new tire with fresh tread and everything, you're probably going to notice a bit of a drop. And admittedly, we did come into the winter season as well, so you're going to expect to see a little bit of a drop in fuel economy there. But all things across the board, he's had this truck for well over a year in all different types of seasons. What was it, about a 2 mile per gallon drop on highway driving? Okay, so just 1 mile per gallon, about 5%.
The tires do stick out a little bit more out of the bottom, past the fender a little bit more than the stock.
That's a good point.
You're probably catching some wind there. The new wheels and tires are 3 pounds more than stock. Okay,
so we've got a little bit extra of that rolling weight that you have to account for, so that's going to affect fuel economy a little bit. And then the aerodynamic aspects and everything. What else? Any noticeable changes in ride quality, bumps, noise?
No,
okay.
There's nothing to complain about. And then the snow traction is very good.
Okay. Yeah, you were telling me the other day that you were able to get up a good amount of roads just in rear-wheel drive, not having to engage the 4 here. Braking in snow seems pretty good and everything.
Yeah.
Okay. How about, have you noticed anything in wet conditions? We've had a few people comment asking about rain and wet. Seem pretty confident?
Yep, totally. There's nothing. They've been totally fine.
Okay. So you can hear here we're at about 55 miles per hour on an asphalt road, and I hear more wind than I do wheel and tire noise. There's a little bit there, but it doesn't seem anything different than what you get in any sort of Tacoma with not anything but a very calm highway tire on it. And going over these more harsh impacts, seems to be soaking them up pretty well. So you wanted to go with the larger wheel and tire sub. You actually went with a smaller wheel, right? It was a 17 down to a 16? Or was it 16?
It was 16 up to a 17.
Oh, okay. So we went with a one size larger wheel and then a little bit larger tire as well. So we have a significantly larger diameter tire now on the truck. And you have noticed that it feels a little bit more sluggish now, right?
Yeah, it does shift a little bit more too.
Okay.
So the next tire, I'll stick with the same size wheel, but I'm going to drop down I'm going to change the tire size so it'll equal the 16 stock size.
Right. And for normal type of driving, you probably don't notice too much of a difference, right? But it's towing that has been unfortunate?
Well, I think that it's affected the towing, but I think in general, you're gonna notice a little bit, even in just normal driving. I think because the way the gearing is in a Tacoma, it's right on the edge, anyways. You know, it's where it's gonna shift all the time. So
sure.
Any change like that is gonna make it worse.
And then you've got a snowmobile trailer that you tow fairly regularly, loaded up. Kind of average weight, I would say probably about 3,000 to 4,000 pounds. Does that sound right?
Between 4 and 5 with everything in it.
Okay. And you actually found that shifting manually has helped you out, right?
Yes. It doesn't gear hunt if you do it manually, of course. So
you're kind of coming out. Say you got the trailer on there, and you're trying to sort of keep. First gear is probably not that important, but you get up, and you were saying about 4,800.
Yep.
You shift so that when it falls down, you're still up in the power band.
Yeah. And then even up the speeds, I'm not going over 70 really on the expressway towing, and I'm still leaving it in 4th gear.
Okay. And that just allows you to have a little bit, like you're not lugging the motor, and
it's too much for it to get into 5th.
Yeah, because there's no overdrive off in this truck, right?
No.
You just have to. So Toyota probably expects you to kind of just leave it in 4th gear if you need that towing experience. Do you ever drive with the ECT power button on? Is that supposed to kind of just make it?
When I'm towing, I do.
Okay.
But I don't know if it makes a difference in manual mode when you're towing, because
that's a good point.
It's more of a transmission.
It might be making the throttle response a little bit snappier as well, but yeah, it's not like it's adding power or anything.
It does hold, in normal mode, it holds the gears longer, it shifts longer with that. But
now, and this is probably something that'd be so subtle you probably wouldn't even notice, but coming to a stop, have you noticed having to really lean into the brakes at all to kind of slow the heavier wheels and tires down?
Yeah, I don't think it's enough to know that,
okay.
You have to do a back-to-back test.
Sure. And you've done a little bit of off-roading with them, right?
Yep.
I mean, you're just getting through kind of 2 tracks and that sort of thing. And are you finding similar sort of deal as with the snow, where you really don't have to be in 4-wheel drive all that often?
Yeah, the traction's great.
That's cool. And obviously one of the biggest things with getting a new set of wheels and tires is how they look. And I know that you were kind of going back and forth between these black ones and some of the more brushed aluminum style looking ones, more of a gray color. How have you liked the looks of them so far after 3 or 4 months, and how have other people responded to it?
I like the looks of the wheels. It just with the color of the truck, I think the gunmetal would have been a nicer color.
It would have popped a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I agree. I mean, the black definitely looks sharp, and you kind of have a simple 2-tone going right now. But especially with this longer wheelbase truck, you've got the 6-foot bed, raising it up a little bit and giving it a little bit of definition with the wheels and tires does help the whole thing look cooler. And that's kind of why, I mean, yeah, this isn't a huge, like, oh, we went out and did a bunch of crazy off-roading back-to-back with these tires or anything, but realistically, a lot of people are buying wheels and tires just because they kind of just like the way they look. Yeah. And that's why it's important to know that even though these are the Xtreme tires, they've been very livable on a day-to-day basis, because you use this truck daily, which is important to know.
And it doesn't, they don't stick out far enough to where it's, throwing a lot of stuff on the side of the truck.
How about rubbing or anything? Have you noticed?
No.
Yeah, I'm going full lock to lock here. I'm not hearing or noticing anything. That's cool. Any other things that you've thought of?
With the wheels, you definitely want to get the longer lug nuts.
Oh,
and,
yeah.
And you can get those right from...
Now, longer, you mean... I can't remember. Did they send us a set?
I ordered a set from them.
Okay. And they were shorter? Or they were longer ones?
This Toyota, the standard lugs were shorter. The new ones are longer from...
Okay.
Yep.
And the other thing is, of course, Hankook does have a tread wear warranty, so if you were to get a set of these tires and they were to wear out remarkably quickly, as long as you're rotating properly and everything, they'll hook you up. They'll make sure that that the tires last the amount of time that they're supposed to. I don't know right off the top of my head what these ones are, but I'll put it down here in the text below. Yeah, we'll be sure to follow up if we go with kind of a smaller tire here, something a little bit thinner. But either way, these wheels are looking really good. They seem to be holding up pretty well too. Rub off a little bit of dirt there. I mean, the paint seems to be pretty quality. I know that you've gotten dark lug nuts in the past and they've kind of chipped off with paint as you put them on, but these seem to be holding their paint on really well.
And those are much longer than the stock, and you can see they don't stick out much.
No.
So the stock ones were really, you know.
Sure. Yeah. Very happy with them. Very happy to report. So if any of you are interested, check the links in the description. Pick up yourself a set of Dynapro AT2s or anything else that Hankook has to offer. And we've been very happy with the RRW wheels as well. I think we addressed all the comments from the first video, but if there's anything I missed, let us know. And we'll see you on the next one. I'm Charlie from Daily Motor, and as always, drive on.